Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? You know, sometimes parents can kind of be biased toward their own children. You think your kid's the best player on the team. You think your kid's the smartest kid in the class, the best-looking kid in the pageant. It's just natural. Sports fans are like that a lot of times with our teams. Sometimes it's hard to see the blemishes. We're blind to the blemishes and we accentuate the positives. And that's okay. That's part of being a fan. Which is why sometimes it's good to look at a third party, to take an outside independent third party view to kind of give us an unbiased approach. And we may not like what that person or what those people may have to say, but sometimes that's the fairest way to look at things. I'm not going to tease you. I'm not going to draw out this tease. ESPN.com graded some of the top free agent moves so far in this offseason. And among them, they gave a grade to the Saints deal with Derek Carr, and they gave it a C. That maybe not a huge surprise, but and by the way, you may not care that ESPN, like one singular source, graded this a C. But sometimes that perspective matters, and context around it can also matter. And it's not just the grade itself, it's what they said. And I want to reset this because when I talk about Derek Carr, I always get pushback because there's a lot of you that don't like my stance on it. And that's okay. But I want to reiterate because too often, whenever I get comments in return, it's people who have misquoted, misrepresented what I have said. What I have said consistently is, like literally on the Monday Derek Carr signed, Derek Carr is the best, most realistic option for the Saints in 2023. Not debatable. Better than Jameis in 2023, better than Dalton in 2023, better than drafting a rookie in 2023, better than Garoppolo in 2023. Derek Carr, better option in 2023 for the Saints than any other realistic option. You were never getting Aaron Rodgers. You weren't trading up to get the number one pick, whatever. Best realistic option. What I've said consistently about Carr is higher floor, lower ceiling. That's been my point about Derek Carr. And if you're someone who values short-term, win some games, never be terrible, then you like this, and that's okay. That's what I've said consistently. It's just a matter of risk tolerance. I believe that I have a higher risk tolerance than some of you who listen because generally based on the feedback I've gotten, it's you don't want to see the team be 3-14 or 4 and God, I hate the 17 game. I got to do that. 4-13. I know. Anyway, and okay. And my point is, I would take 4-13 this year if it meant going through that means you're better long term. So when I read this thing through ESPN, what struck me, here's just some pieces of the write-up to highlight. 1 year ago, the Saints showed irrational self-confidence by dealing a pile of future assets for an extra first-round selection to take a non-quarterback. This year, they're doing something similar by signing Derek Carr. They write, don't get me wrong, Carr improves the Saints right now. The thing I've said over and over and over again. And they go through all the stats. QBR, yada, yada, yada. They continue. Does signing Carr get the Saints closer to or further from a Super Bowl, though? that's the ultimate measure, and I'm skeptical the answer is the former. Again, what is your end game? Are you trying to win games, or are you trying to win a championship? My contention has been you will win games with Derek Carr. Probably more games in 2023 than you won in 2022. But you're not winning a championship with Derek Carr as it sits right now, which is why the team that drafted him, made him their franchise, and invested nearly a decade in him, kicked him to the curb. They acknowledged that they had bumped up against his glass ceiling. They continue. To win the Super Bowl with Carr on a veteran contract, just about everything has to break right elsewhere on the roster. And the aging and cap-strapped Saints are in a position where that's particularly unlikely. They compare, by the way, they say that financially, it's when you adjust for inflation. Carr's deal is similar to the one Garoppolo got in 2018, the one Ryan Tannehill got with the Titans in 2020. But they write, in both examples, the quarterback in question was coming off a better performance in a limited sample size than what Carr did in 2022. But Carr's deal is similar to what Garoppolo and Tannehill got in their most recent deals, but both of those guys were younger, and it performed better than Carr in 2022. And here's the kicker, and this is the point that hits home, which illustrates, I think, the feeling a lot of people have. And I'm going through this because sometimes it helps. It's like when you go to couples therapy, you have the independent third party. You have the therapist sitting right there to act sort of as a mediator to tell you something that maybe you don't want to hear. I understand the desire to win as many games each year as possible, but at some point 2 years ago, and if not then last year, and if not then now, the Saints would be wise to understand who they are and think about more than just increasing their mean expected wins for the next season as opposed to future upside. They ought to be trading veterans, saving money, prioritizing long shots and variance, a tactic that would result in short-term pain, but medium to long-term strength. And finally, in signing Carr and refusing to reset, the Saints have committed to mediocrity for at least another couple of seasons. You don't have to like that I'm saying it. There's someone else independent saying the same thing. You're going to win more games this year, but you're not actually getting yourself closer to winning a championship with this strategy. That has been, will continue to be my point with the Derek Carr signing. What's done is done. They've signed him, and they are financially committed to him, committed to him for at least the next 2 years. But when those 2 years come and go, and you win some games, and maybe even make the playoffs, then where are you? You're exactly where you were last year, and the year before that, and the year before that, and the year before that. Eventually, you've got to be willing to play for the long term instead of the short tail now, because that strategy has a ceiling unless you can get a true franchise quarterback in that short term. And I don't think Drew Brees or Aaron Rodgers or anyone like that's walking through the door anytime soon. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.